Take a look at the numbers, and maybe you can back that up, Professor Shastri, because when we do this political stock exchange that Rahul does, you're looking at Modi versus Rahul, and it becomes who do you want as your prime minister? Now, is that a uniform trend across India that you can choose this election as Modi versus Rahul? Would someone in Tamil Nadu, someone in Assam, and someone in Uttar Pradesh see the election in the same term? Have Indian elections actually become at the Lok Sabha level presidential, like state elections appear to become? Is there a gap, a disjunction between the way you choose your party for the center, where you look at an individual, and where you choose your party for the state? If you look at those numbers, purely in those terms, it would appear Narendra Modi. If this was a US election, we should all be going home and saying Narendra Modi and the NDA have won. Because you're playing 48% versus 35%. 13% is more than enough to win. Is that replicable in an Indian election of 543 constituencies?
Rajdeep, I would like to respond to this question in two ways. I don't think the question of the preferred prime ministerial choice is the way to look at who is likely to get a majority in the election. 2 points on that. First, I think it's important for us to understand that, as was said by Yashwant, that voters are voting very differently when it comes to a state assembly election and a Lok Sabha election. That's point one. But point two, even in a Lok Sabha election, it's important for us to concede the point that one single Lok Sabha election is 29 different verdicts spread across the country. Every state is voting differently. And therefore, it's important for us to understand what is happening at the state level, even when you're talking of a Lok Sabha election. While leadership does matter at the national level, data evidence is also pointing out to the fact that leadership at the state level, at the local level, is equally critical when you are talking of a Lok Sabha election.
Which comes to the critical point. Look at all Indian elections.
Rajdeep.
Look at all Indian elections. BJP plus Congress in recent times, between the two, have never exceeded 320, 325 max. BJP plus Congress, which means there are 220 seats that go to others almost routinely now in Indian elections, Rahul Verma. Because the general sense is 2019 is either about Narendra Modi winning or the regional parties asserting themselves. Is there a sense that those regional parties are underestimated in most polls that we do at times? And in the final count, those regional parties do play a much greater role in Indian elections now. That's in a normal Indian election, to use the word of Yashwant Deshmukh. In a normal Indian election, in a no-wave election, does the regional party become a major player? Which is why Mr. Modi needs to create a wave.
Okay, so I have 5 points. First, just to get into the discussion. One, around 2018, after the assembly election, was BJP in a tight spot? Yes, they were. From there, could they have done better? Yes, very much, because on 3-4 factors, since January 19, they are much in control of narrative, they have a machine, and there is a difference between 2004 and 2018, 2019, because in 2003 they had won 3 elections. There was an overconfidence. In 2018 they lost all those 3 elections, so they were much more cautious. Fourth point, and I sort of disagree with you on, so across the world, there is a trend that national security crisis always helps the incumbent, much more if the incumbent is of a right-wing variety, and financial decline always goes against the incumbent. In fact, in 1999, BJP's vote share did not decline because BJP contested 40 to 45 seats less.
Point
the
taken.
Second point, and Yogenji would remember this, he wrote this article in the Frontline in 1999, saying that the security concerns and foreign policy concerns played a very complex role. So not in one direction. There were 2-3 foreign policy issues. First one was Kargil, which sort of helped BJP to gain some vote. Second one was Pokhran, which had happened a year ago. That did not play a big role. And third one was whether we should be playing cricket matches or have
So you're saying Pulwama will give the BJP a boost? It
yes,
should.
It should. And I think the question now is to what extent.
Okay.